Stress. Oh, sorry. Well, what's frustrating is you're going to hear a lot of things about stress. Okay, and you can boil all different stresses down into noises that irritate you. Oh, sorry, Doc. I'm sorry. No, you can boil all stress down, and this is every type of stress known to mankind, into 3 categories: physical, chemical, and emotional. Okay, now the tough part is your body doesn't know the difference between these 3. If you have physical stress, like an auto accident, or you sit at a desk, okay, which flattens out the nervous system, you have the exact same response as if you're chemically stressed. Like, let's say you fill your plate with toxins from McDonald's. Or let's say you're psychologically stressed. Let's say, you happen to work for your brother, okay? I mean, horrible stressors, okay? Oh, God. Okay, was anyone afraid just now? I know you weren't, but I know my nephew was. Okay, so did I just induce emotional stress? Yeah. Okay, so now what happens? So you got to figure, stress is a natural response to your body through a certain stimulus. And your body is designed to give this stress response. Now, physical, chemical, or emotional stress, your body has the exact same response, like you're being chased by a tiger. And I just tried to induce emotional response. Steve's a rock. He won't get upset when I yell. So what happens? If you're being chased by a tiger, what happens to heart rate? It goes up, yeah, because that's a normal body response in order to get away from a tiger. But also, now, do you need a lot of energy or little energy? A lot. So your liver is going to break down glycogen to glucose. So blood sugar has to go up under physical, chemical, or emotional stress. Also, LDL cholesterol. Have you heard of good cholesterol and bad cholesterol? You've heard of those terms? Okay, has anyone watched television that said those terms? Okay, that's ignorant or ignorant. Okay, there's no good cholesterol and there's no bad cholesterol. In fact, low-density lipoprotein, we do an entire talk on that. And we talk about it. It's a protein carrier of the most complex, important molecule your body makes. Cholesterol is the most valuable product you have. In fact, it's so valuable, it's in the cell wall of every cell in your body, 70 trillion cells. It's also 90% of what your brain is composed of. This is the precursor to stress hormones. LDL, or low-density lipoprotein, is the most valuable structure that your body makes. And it's so valuable that under stress it circulates in the bloodstream. If it's not utilized, you got another protein carrier called high-density lipoprotein, and that actually attaches onto LDL if it's not utilized and brings it back to the liver to store for future use. It's that valuable. Okay, now also, if you're being chased by a tiger, digestion takes a huge amount of energy, so digestion is shut down. And then immune system. Has anyone ever had a cold? Raise your hand if you've ever had a cold. You feel like you got a ton of energy?
No.
When you got a cold, no? You feel kind of wiped out? The reason is because the immune system is metabolically expensive. It takes a tremendous amount of energy to identify viruses and pathogens and to build the correct antibodies. It's hugely expensive. And body regeneration. If you know that every cell in your body dies and regrows. I mean, you've got a spleen, and the spleen, it's about the size of your fist, and it can grow up to the size of a basketball, and it shrinks down depending on need. The spleen checks 6 quarts of blood every 20 minutes. And any cell that it doesn't like, any red blood cell that isn't viable, because red blood cells last about 120 days, it takes that red blood cell that's used up, passes it off to the liver. The liver takes it down, breaks it down into different proteins, forms bile out of it so it can reutilize those blood proteins. There's nothing wasted. So body regeneration is shut down under stress. So think of this. Chronic stress, what would a high heart rate and high blood pressure be diagnosed as? I'm sorry, die means to, agnose means not to know. So what would 2 disease management professionals, okay, diagnose somebody with a higher heart rate and higher blood pressure? What would they call it? High blood pressure. Yeah, or you could call it hypertension if you're really, in the medical world. If high blood sugar goes up, what do you end up? Diabetes. Yeah, okay, that's a good one. High cholesterol, that's not even a disease. It's just an adaptation to environmental stimulus, but we're going to call it a disease anyway. Okay, blood supply to the gut shuts down. You got this muscular tube in your gut. And this muscular tube, it's called a colon, and it's the most beautiful thing you ever saw. Honest to God, because what it does, it has this peristaltic wave that goes through and moves food through the gut. You've got billions of bacteria inside of your colon that break down nutrients. This is where 90% of your body's water is absorbed. So if you have blood supply shut down to it, and you've got this beautiful muscular tube there, you compromise blood supply or nerve supply to the muscular tube, guess what you get? Colitis, gastritis, Crohn's disease, diverticulitis, okay, constipation if you're dehydrated, immune system problems. This means weakening of your immune system responses. This means chronic colds. This means asthma. This means chronic inflammation. Body regeneration, you can't produce it. This means that your kidneys aren't going to work right. This means wrinkles. This means diseases of the skin. This means stomach lining doesn't get produced correctly. Ulcers. How many diseases did we just talk about? I don't know, I wasn't taking notes. Okay, can you see this? Virtually every condition that's being treated by disease management professionals can be traced back to a natural body response by stress. So we need to correct this. When we look at this, the nervous system controls and coordinates every function of the body. This is fact. This is anatomy and physiology. When you go in and dissect a human being, this is what you see. You can trace nerves out that come out and regulate the heart rate. You can see how they increase or decrease lung function. If you knew that once you've got actual sensors inside of the neck right here, everybody has these sensors. Now these sensors, they check blood pressure. So if your blood pressure isn't high enough, it sends a signal down immediately to the heart to increase heart rate. Now let's say that you have excess carbon dioxide in your blood. Okay, there's actually a chemoreceptor inside of the neck as well. If carbon dioxide levels are too great, this not only sends a signal down to the heart, but it also sends a signal down to the lungs. See, under physical, chemical, or emotional stress, your body is going to also be producing more acid because you're in this fight or flight. Now, do me a favor. Take a deep breath in. Blow it out. Did you see that? I'm sorry, you're the only one with special glasses. Did anyone else see the carbon dioxide go out of my system? Okay.
Al Gore.
Okay, good. Al Gore would have seen it. Yeah, that's got a little bit of global warming right here. No, what happens is when you breathe out, you're breathing out an acid called carbon dioxide. What just breathing does, or what these sensors tell the body to do, because the lungs are the greatest organ that you have to detox your system. By just breathing, you shift your system from acidotic, where disease grows, to alkaline. All of this comes from the stress. Now, this is normal. You work with this person. Okay, have you seen this person in the mall? Now do me a favor. All you got to do is sit up straight in your chair, round your shoulders over. Just round them over, just like this, like you've been working at a desk for a while. Now try and take a couple of deep breaths. Oh, that's not working. Okay, now just reposition the shoulders and try taking a deep breath. Oh, that's a lot easier. So now here's something. Now let's say that you went to somebody that doesn't understand physiology. Okay, they don't have a lot of anatomy. Well, we're going to call them something else. But now, so this person here, since your body burns, your brain, this little 3-pound brain, burns 25% of the body's oxygen. Okay, it's like so do you think that the heart rate has to increase to get oxygen to the brain? Yes or yes? It has to. If you have the rounded over shoulders, by God, the body is self-regulating. It's going to increase its blood pressure in order to keep that brain alive, to keep oxygen going there. So now you got the physical stress, okay? Physical stress, the body's adapting by elevating what? The heart rate and blood pressure, okay, in order to keep the brain alive. And then we get somebody that doesn't understand physiology. If they have blood pressure different than a 20-year-old, what do they give them?
Lower blood pressure.
Chemical stress. They give either a diuretic, so it's poisonous to the kidney, or a beta blocker, or an ACE inhibitor, or any one of the 4 different types of drugs to slow the heart rate down, lowers flow to pressure. But whatever it does, if it actually lowers the blood pressure, do you help oxygen in the brain or slow it down? Oh my gosh, if we actually thought that was healthcare, lowering oxygen inside of the body, what cells grow best in low oxygen?
Cancer.
Cancer. Oh, gosh, that's right. Oh, man, if that was actually utilized as a form of healthcare, wouldn't about half our population be developing cancer? Oh, it is. Okay, well, anyway, so can you see this? What I want you to do is radically change your thinking. You are in charge of your health, nobody else. If you actually are walking up to a guy with a white jacket and saying, please check me, check my vital signs, and then make my vital signs like everybody else, you're going to die early. You have a 30% chance of developing diabetes. You got a 50% chance of developing cancer. You're going to be part of the sickest society the world's ever seen. Okay? And that's wrong. We change that now. Right now, here's a guy standing up straight. Okay, does that look straight or does that look bent off to the side? By gosh, it is. Now, I think his body's intelligent. I think that's a brilliant design. But this deviation where it's shoved off to the side, those are the nerves that actually come out and supply the heart and lung area. This is the sympathetic nervous system. These are the nerves here that supply the lung tissue. I mean, when we talked about lung health a few months ago, when we talk about lung health in a few weeks, you're going to learn a mnemonic. I taught anatomy, so I'm going to teach you anatomy. C3, C4, C5 keeps you alive. Say it with me. C3, C4, C5 keeps you alive. Good. Now you know the nerve that supplies the diaphragm. How cool is that? So this right here is C3, C4, C5. Now, that's under extreme pressure. Do you think his diaphragm isn't going to work as well? Now, I already demonstrated how beautiful my body gets rid of carbon dioxide. Do you think his body's going to be able to get rid of it? No, so he's more acidotic. What's even worse, he's got the sensors in his neck that's telling his heart to work harder. So he goes up to a disease management guy and they say, my gosh, your blood pressure's higher. We better find out why, because your body's working harder than it should. There must be a reason. Nope. They gave him 4 medications to lower his blood pressure because his blood pressure, see, the way blood pressure works, your body's self-regulating. With his damage to the nervous system here, his body blood pressure is going to have to be up here. Now let's say you chemically force it down low. Anyone want to know what this number is? I don't know. It depends on him. He's self-regulating. Could be 160 over 100, could be 180 over 100. Just understand that blood pressure is different in different countries. In this country, we believe everybody should have 120 over 80. Sounds good, man. Okay, no, there's no science behind that. That's ridiculous. Okay, in England, it's 100 plus your age. So a person that's 60 years old, 160 is considered normal. In France, they don't do anything unless it's over 180. In India, if it falls below 140, they think that's pathology. It needs to be higher than 140. That's all guesswork, because all you're doing, you're just measuring how much pressure it takes to compress an artery. So that's not accurate. Okay, but they're not going to tell you that's not accurate. So this person, his blood pressure's here. Whether it's 150, 160, 170, 180, it doesn't matter. His body needs it this high. So you chemically force it down low instead of fixing the problem. Now his blood pressure looks better on a machine, right? Now the body needs it up here. It's self-regulating. So what the body's going to do, it's going to secrete cortisol. Now the primary role of cortisol is to down-regulate insulin receptors. What that means is you chemically force it down lower. Wait, we were talking about stress, aren't we? Physical, chemical, and emotional stress. Do they all have the same reaction in the body? So they all elevate heart rate, elevate cholesterol, elevate blood pressure, elevate blood sugar, shut blood supply down the gut, and weaken the immune system, okay? So we got the physical stress here, right there, of the pressure on the nervous system. You chemically force it down lower. Oh my God, that's 2 stressors. Okay, so the body secretes blood sugar, cortisol, everything else to get it back up. Ah, no, it's up too high again. Let's take another drug. Okay, so we have more chemical stress. See how crazy this is? See, what they're going to do, and I'm going to tell you, give you a little glimpse into this magic ball called intelligence. We're going to look into the future about 20 years. See, no one's going to check blood pressure on everybody. What they're going to do is check for viscosity. How thick is your blood?